Today's lesson, the limerick. The limerick is a 5-line poem. The first 2 lines rhyme, the next 2 lines rhyme, and the 5th, final line rhymes with the first 2. Here's my math dog coronavirus limerick. When walking math dog in Mill Valley, along sidewalk, trail, or alley, if others appear, I show math dog's rear and steer Poochie clear. I don't dally. Well, that was good, clean fun. And if you'd like, let's say 2 points of extra credit, write me a limerick in English, Spanish, or whichever other language you're good at, and put it on your next homework you send to me. For the rest of this brief episode, I'm going to talk about sacrifices. Everyone, even Math Dog, is making sacrifices these days. Alright, so we're talking about sacrifice here on the holiday edition that has no math or assignment for Math Dog. Here's a picture of my parents. I like this picture. They're a young couple, newly married in 1948, walking down the avenue in San Francisco. Looking pretty good. Nice, cool looking clothes, happy young people. The Second World War had just ended, and the Depression had just ended. My mother grew up in Oklahoma. Her farm was very close to going bankrupt, and her family, but they held on. If you've ever read Grapes of Wrath, that's what they narrowly avoided. My father, on the other hand, was born into great wealth, stinking rich. And they lost pretty much all of it in this stock market crash. He went to World War II, and they made great sacrifices all along the way. That's how they got to this point of being a happy couple. Here's my father later holding my brother. Well, World War II was quite a time for sacrifices. I've got some souvenirs here. Here's my father's dog tag. Yes, Math Dog, dog tag. I'm serious. That's what you wore when you're in the military, so that if you were captured, they knew you weren't a spy. Hey, here's something. Keep. Berlin Wall. Well, that's not all the Berlin Wall. That's the bits I possess of the Berlin Wall. A year after the Berlin Wall came down, you could break pieces off of it. It was made out of concrete. People in Germany lost their lives trying to get from one side of the Berlin Wall to the other. They wanted some control over their lives. And that control over your life is valuable. That's one of the things that you are sacrificing right now. You're making a great sacrifice for this coronavirus. And I respect that. And I have a suggestion. And that is to take control of as much of your society and your community as you can. You're young people with lots of energy and knowledge. Here's how I suggest you do it. Get yourself registered to vote if you're not. You can pre-register. You don't even have to be 18 to do it. So in the next election, you can do it. In red and blue there, I've listed some things you can search on the internet. There's plenty of other ways to find it. You can get yourself registered online. They send you a ballot in the mail. You fill it out. You don't even have to put a stamp on it. Can you change things like that? Well, yeah, stuff does change. Stuff does change quite a bit. Here's a sweatshirt. Says New York on it. And I show you this because when I was a little bit older than typical high school student, I was in college, apartheid was going on in South Africa. If you don't know about apartheid, it wasn't quite slavery, but it was mighty close. And People protested about it. I marched in a march or two about it. Felt good to be on the correct side. I never really thought anything was going to change, though, I'll be honest with you. But it did. A prisoner who had been locked up for years named Nelson Mandela would eventually be released and be made president of the country. The country gave up its nuclear weapons. It's the only country that's ever done that. Well, how did that happen? And it happened fairly quickly. And it was young people who took control. You'd go to the campus bookstore at college and you'd buy a t-shirt that said UC Berkeley or UC Santa Cruz or what have you. And you would wear that around. But those t-shirts were made by companies that did business with South Africa. And the students said, we're not going to buy those anymore. And pretty soon the student government said, we're not going to even have them in the campus bookstore, and they lost money. And that was the start of a process where states did the same thing and said, no, we're not going to sell that garbage. And businesses and entertainers refused to do business with South Africa. They wouldn't go and sing and do their productions in South Africa anymore. They lost tourism. They lost money. And eventually, fairly quickly, in the greater scheme of things, once the ball got rolling, it changed. It didn't solve all of South Africa's problems. It didn't solve all of the world's problems, but it made the world a lot bigger place. You young people are going to have to do that. You're going to have to take control of the world. You're going to have to take control of the country. So the first thing you can do, the easiest thing you can do, is get yourself registered to vote now. That's the first step. Then you take it from there, because there's going to be more crises after this one, and they're going to be bigger. Global warming is going to make this one look like a walk through the tulip patch. So you young folks, take control of things. You know right and wrong. You've got skills. You can fix things. So start on in on it. And old folks like me hopefully will help you with that. Thanks a lot, folks. I hope you have a nice holiday.